Dalia's Sam Fitzroy talks candidate conversions next on the RecTech podcast.
Welcome to RecTech, the podcast where recruiting and technology intersect. Each month, you'll hear from vendors shaping the recruiting world, along with recruiters who'll tell you how they use technology to hire talent. Now, here's your host, the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell.
Hey again, RecTechies. Welcome to the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology-inspired conversations. Mastering recruitment technology is the key to hiring great talent. That's why my show exists. All right, Sam Fitzroy is the CEO and co-founder of Dalia, a candidate conversion platform that activates hidden talent pools and proactively builds interest through personalized touchpoints automatically. He joins me now on the line to discuss their latest platform release. Sam, good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Sam and I go back to his days at Indeed there. I missed the summer rooftop parties there, Sam. We need to have some of those with Dalia at some point.
Good old days. I'd love to get that going again. Those were like fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, just to remind the audience what you guys do first. Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dalia is a candidate conversion platform. And what we specialize in is helping employers, mostly large employers, convert more of their candidate audiences. That's people who visit their career sites, people they have in their CRMs or ATSs, converting them into interested applicants who are very likely to move through the hiring process. And we do that through a lot of automated re-engagement of jobs and messaging. So keeping the company's brand and jobs front and center with their audience, making sure that they see them and are aware of them frequently. And it's this sort of ongoing nurturing activity that's fully automated that drives up that overall conversion of those candidates to take action. We do a few other things as well to make it simple and easy for people who are using their phones. So we simplify the job application process by phone, especially by text. And that helps a lot with conversion rates. So that's the core of what we do. And recently, we're launching some new products to just give sourcing teams a little bit more insight into their candidates and help them quickly find people that are going to be really responsive, because we know that's a big problem for sourcing teams.
Oh, and that's why I kind of do the show. New recruiting technology is always coming out. So let's dive deep into the new features there, Sam.
Yeah. So one of the things we've noticed in almost every conversation we have with existing customers and with the new companies that we're talking to is that their sourcing teams struggle to find candidates who are responsive. And they spend a lot of time calling into candidates, going after people, and very few of them pick up the phone or respond to email. And this has been increasing as the talent acquisition teams have been driving more lead gen through quick applies. We see a direct correlation with this. And so for our clients who have a lot of quick apply flow, and that's where their job marketing budget goes, that tends to be a pool that their sourcing teams act on, and they are less and less and less responsive. And we see that because these candidates who apply that way are applying to like lots of different companies in a very short period of time. So what we're doing is offering these sourcing teams a preview, a glimpse of everyone who's showing interest in your brand, whether it's quick apply, it's a visitor to your site, who's interested right now, who is taking action, who's visiting your site, who's clicking on the marketing emails, who's showing interest and likely to respond to you when you call. So we highlight those candidates, give you start here. These are the most responsive people. And the idea here is it'll shorten up that time. They'll get more response rates and they'll better use of their time, basically.
What does that look like for the employer? Like, describe to me the interface for this or the screen.
Yeah, so for the employer, there's a dashboard where we stack rank candidates based on interest level. So the ones showing the most interest are at the top. So that's where you can start. Everybody knows how sourcing teams, TA teams just love another place to log in, right? So we're going to make this product work without you having to log in anywhere. So it comes with an alerting system. So that much the same way that we do push notifications to job seekers to get them engaged and to take action, this will be sending push notifications to sourcers and recruiters. So when a hot lead is showing activity, they're qualified, plus they're showing a lot of interest, we will send an alert to the teams. That can be over email, over text, but it just makes it very front and center. So you're really notified when somebody's interested.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else around the new features?
I think that's the biggest like net new. In terms of our core conversion products, we've been doing a lot to improve that and just drive further conversion. I think the new thing there is that we're making more of that experience front and center on companies' career sites. And so with Dalia, when you connect through Dalia on an employer's career site, typically we're behind the scenes running, automated job marketing to build your awareness, build the affinity with the brand, ultimately get people to convert. And that happens over email and text. But now we're doing a lot more of that front and center directly on the career site. And so the main benefit there is overall increase in conversion rates. But the beauty is employers don't have to switch their career site to get this. They don't have to do any sort of major work or integration. This can just happen on any career site that you have, this instant high touch personalization that lets job seekers see the relevant jobs that they match to very quickly and then apply.
Yeah. You're like a career site optimization tool. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think like that's a big part of it is optimizing the career site for sure. That's the core. And then also the existing candidate databases. Not only is it quick applies that tend to just not convert through the hiring process, but lots of our customers are just sitting on massive databases of CRM leads that are pretty much untapped and are hard to convert. And so they rely on our remarketing to activate those leads and convert them back into, interested candidates as well.
Yeah, that conversion is something that traditionally a lot of HR or TA just hasn't focused on that well. Talk about just conversion, why teams need to care about that, and what kind of maybe some rates you're seeing there as well.
Yeah, I think for us, like that's why we're calling ourselves a conversion platform. We think it's so critical in everything. It's critical in speed, time to hire, and then also cost efficiencies when you're talking about job marketing and job spend. And so conversion rate, like what is a conversion rate? We just are doing a podcast or a webinar on this with Leah Daniels to talk about conversion rates. There's so many ways you can define a conversion rate. So that's the important thing. For us and our clients, the conversion they really care about is from that initial show of interest when a job seeker visits my career site or they sign up in some way. How do I convert them through to a hire? That's like the final endpoint of that conversion. So in that funnel, there's a lot of different conversion points, like the apply conversion rate. Did I start and complete an application, or did I visit the career site and click the apply button? So we try to optimize that whole stack. And when you change that conversion rate and increase it, so you get more people converting through your funnel, you can really speed up your time to hire because you're getting more people in the door faster. And you can also be way more efficient with your job marketing spend. A lot of our companies spend so much money driving candidates at the top of the funnel because their conversion rate is so low. That's the reason why they're spending so much on job advertising. And so if you can make just a slight change in conversion rate, you can really save money at the top of the funnel.
Yeah. You mentioned quick apply before. Let's talk about that for a second. Are you seeing an increase, just the amount of quick applies happening across the board in terms of just your client base and generally speaking? And is that a good thing or a bad thing, do you think?
We definitely are seeing an increase in that in comparison to just programmatic budget sending traffic to an ATS or a career site. Whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, it really depends on the setup of the company. So if a company is like set up with a sourcing team that's well equipped to receive a high volume of leads, which is really what a quick apply is, and then act on those leads in a very timely way to figure out who's qualified and who's not, and then convert them, then it can work well. That's incredibly rare though. We rarely see that working well. The only place where we see that working consistently well is in trucking. But for traditional employers, we really don't see that. And so the budget gets shifted to quick applies. The cost basis for an application is very low. And so there's this perceived win on cost. But when you measure that through your whole hiring funnel, it doesn't really, like a savings on cost per quick apply doesn't really translate to a savings in time or cost per hire. And that's a challenge that our clients are facing.
Yeah.
Looking for your next HR technology role? Go to your browser, type in hrtechjob.com, and browse hundreds of jobs with the best HR technology vendors. HR tech professionals finally have a dedicated job marketplace to find work or be found. Sign up for job alerts or post a resume. Discover jobs with companies like Workday, Phenom, HiBob, Deal, and more. You'll even find HR tech roles with employers in case you want to work with managing HCM or HRIS platforms. HR Tech Job, the only job market for HR technology careers. Join us at hrtechjob.com.
Tell me a success story, Sam. Share with us a customer that you have that you don't have to name them, but how they benefit from using you guys.
There's a few good stories we like. I guess the first one comes to mind is Mercy Healthcare out of St. Louis, and they're one of the largest hospital networks in St. Louis. They have really lofty hiring goals. They're expanding quickly, as most healthcare systems are in the United States, and so their demand is crazy. But there's a really short supply of the types of candidates they need, obviously. And so what we're doing for them is sitting right at the heart of their job marketing and increasing the conversion of paid and organic traffic to their career site into qualified applicants likely to get hired. And so we started in a small pilot with them, tested things out, proved our value. We increased their visit. That's like people visiting the career site from paid and organic. The conversion of those visitors to hires by 9% just in our pilot period with a limited budget. And since then, we've increased that exposure and increased that conversion. And so that's a pretty big increase just in the pilot phase. That means they could either spend 9% less on job advertising and get the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing. They're holding their budget steady and in fact increasing them because now they can just make more hires in a competitive market. Compass Group is another company that, we've had a lot of success with. They're in food service, incredibly high volume, hiring about 150,000 people a year. And again, they traditionally relied heavily on job advertising, just driving a lot of people at the top of the funnel, but we've made that more efficient for them as well. So same thing there, just driving up conversion rates gives them efficiency, time savings. They can just do more with their budget.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Sam. What's without Dalia in place, what's one thing a company could do today? Something simple maybe that could help their conversion rates. Give me a tip there.
Yeah, text messaging is huge. I think I wouldn't say it's like a simple thing, but it's high value. So I would say if a company wants to make a big impact quickly, explore text. We see so many employers do their own remarketing only via email, and text is a huge opportunity. For our remarketing that we do, it runs over email and text. Text drives 60% of the total applications. So it's like where it's at. So I would encourage an employer to just try test it. I know there's some vendors that offer ways to set up manual text campaigns or rule-based text campaigns, and that could be a good way to get you started. But that's something you can do on your own. It's just like get into text.
I mean, you guys have a pretty unique product in the marketplace, but what's your biggest challenge right now, would you say, Sam, as a company goes?
I think staying focused is a core challenge for us and for everyone. Like, we rarely branch into a new area and create a brand new product. We tend to just iterate on what we have and just make the performance better and better. And so a challenge right now is, how do we continue to make our existing conversion product really good and continue maximizing it, but just tap into some of these obvious opportunities like in sourcing, where we can share more context, highlight the most interested people. So I think a challenge is, what's the balance there, right? Do we just continue piling on and making the core product deliver more and more and more? Or do we do new things? And, we've inherently tried to not do too much new stuff and just make what we have really good. So it's that balance, managing that. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Interesting. I was at Unleashed recently, and people were stopping and asking me, okay, what's cool, Chris? What's new? What's the hottest thing new? I'm like, look, I'm hard to impress at this point, Sam. But the one thing that has remained constant I don't know how long you've been in this business, Sam? When did you start at Indeed?
Oh yeah, like back in 2008, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so you're an OG like me. the problem still exists though is resume black hole, the whole job search experience.
Mhm.
Have you ever thought about that in terms of, okay, why isn't that getting better? We have all this technology out there, and you guys are doing some good things around that. But as a
We've
whole,
thought a lot about that. That's one of the areas we've chosen not to take a big action on as a matter of focus, right? And like that's a passion problem of mine and something I do have a vision for solving. And it is unfortunately just doesn't seem like a high priority for employers to solve that. And I think that's why there's not any good solution in the market today. So we've tried to figure out a path to close that black hole loop for job seekers while delivering a lot of value to an employer. That's the key. So it's tricky. We have a couple ideas though, but as a matter of focus, we just haven't gone there quite yet.
yeah, and I think I think it is to me, it's the big fault lies in the employer where they just don't care enough for, because to me, we have the tech out there. We have tech like yours and other stuff to help make that job experience better. But it's just a matter of implementing it correctly and caring about that experience,
I think employers can get a bad rap on this because I think they do care. Like deep down, they do care. They don't want that negative experience for their candidates. It's just a resource thing we see, like there's already so much on their plates.
Maybe it's more of a leadership thing. Like, they don't have
It's
the
not a top-down
resources
directive.
that comes from the CEO, whatever. I don't know what.
Exactly. And like, how does fixing that translate to the bottom line for us? And in an expense center, like that's a lot to ask, right? If I can reduce this black hole, respond to everyone who I reject, right? Or just reject people in the first place.
Yeah, they can't even get that right. It's like,
right. And it's like, I think they could get that right, but there's just not technology that allows it to happen at scale without taking a lot of time from TA teams. And that's the problem. I think they care. It's just hard to do it very well.
Someone's got to make a AI rejection tool that automates
for
every
real.
ATS
Like
out
that's
there.
a thing. I think that there's certainly you can make rule-based rejection, which is something that we're considering.
ATS have that, but yeah, it's like
but like rejection that's also helpful, right? Like if you're going to send a message to somebody that they're not a fit for a job, there's so many things that you can do now to help that person, like recommend other jobs or recommend resources automatically. That should be happening in the market today. And if we don't do it, I'm sure somebody will.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's great catching up, Sam. Tell the audience where to go to learn more about Dalia.
Yeah, to learn more about Dalia, go to dalia.co, dalia.co. And we are doing a webinar with Rally Recruitment Marketing coming up on June 6th about high volume hiring. So that's another good place to check us out and learn more.
All right. Sounds good, man. Well, good to see you, Sam, and stay in touch, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you, Chris.
That will do for this episode of the RecTech Podcast. Please follow us on the socials, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn via the @RecTechMedia handle. See every podcast, video, and blog we publish. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, always be recruiting.
Another episode of RecTech is in the books. Follow Chris on Twitter @ChrisRussell or visit rectechmedia.com, where you can find the audio and links for this show on our blog. RecTech Media helps keep employers and recruiters up to date through our podcasts, webinars, and articles. So be sure to check out our other sites, Recruiting Headlines and HR Podcasters, to stay on top of recruiting industry trends. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of RecTech, the Recruiting Technology Podcast.